Hello and welcome to the world of NekoDecoPop. I'm Nat and today we're breaking down my top 10 anime of 2024. Now, I want to start out with a massive disclaimer because I know I'm going to get backlash for it if I don't address it. Since Rant started in 2023, I am not counting it as a 2024 anime. Yes, I know, don't come at me. This was a really hard call for me to make since Rant is one of my all-time favorite anime and one of the few that I've ever given a 10 out of 10. But alas, it came out in 2023, so that's how the cookie crumbles. Also, this list is going to be more of my final thoughts on these shows. If you want the full breakdown on the plot and whatnot, I will link the full seasonal reviews in the description. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Number 10, A Sign of Affection. When I first saw the trailer for A Sign of Affection last year, I was devastated to realize that it was still months away. So I binged all of the manga in a day and waited patiently. I am so happy to report that the anime absolutely did it justice. And this is now one of my favorite romance anime of all time. But it's not only an amazing anime. The work that this did to bring visibility to the disability community was groundbreaking. One of my biggest gripes with romance anime is the sheer amount of time it takes for the characters to get together. But in A Sign of Affection, they fall for each other very quickly and are official like halfway through the show. There's not really much drama, it's just them learning about each other and learning how to support each other. Watching Yuki get to experience all of the aspects of life that she had previously been told might not be possible for her is the most heartwarming and wholesome experience. It's just a wonderful show and I cannot wait to see more. Number 9, The Elusive Samurai. As a massive history nerd, The Elusive Samurai was most likely going to be a smash hit no matter how it landed. When I found out this was also by Yusei Matsui, the creator of Assassination Classroom, I got even more excited. But I should have known coming from him that this was going to break my heart. And holy shit, those first 2 episodes absolutely destroyed me. The way that this show is able to balance out comedy and heartbreak needs to be studied. Although this isn't entirely historically accurate, the general characters and historical points are. Since there wasn't a whole lot written about this real-life samurai, this allowed the anime to really embellish on the story and have so much fun with it. Overall, this was an amazing journey whose music, especially the outro, was one of my favorites of the year. This was the sleeper hit of the summer and I cannot recommend this puppy enough. Number 8, Tadaima o Kaeri. I have been through a lot over the last few years, and one of the things that's helped me get through is returning to my all-time favorite comfort manga, Tadaima o Kaeri. This beautiful Omegaverse story is about a young family building a life together and traversing the societal judgments of being a alpha-omega pairing and a same-sex couple. So when I found out that they were making an anime adaptation, I legitimately cried. Like, I cannot express how much this manga helped me get through some of the hardest moments of my life, including a cancer scare, having to get a preventative double mastectomy and bilateral salpingectomy, going back to school, having that ruin my mental health to the point that I was having constant SI and had to go back to outpatient, starting a new career, having to leave that career, starting a new one, diving back into my music career, and starting this brand and channel. I have always come back to Tadaima o Kaeri, and when I watched the anime, it was even better than I could have ever imagined. I am so happy that this is finally out and now can bring even more comfort to so many more people. I really hope that you're also able to find some healing and love from it. At number 7, we have Ranma 1/2. Ranma 1/2 was one of my favorite series growing up. The anime, the movies, the manga, this series meant so much to me and played such a pivotal role in so many of our lives. When Rumiko Takahashi's other classic, Urusei Yatsura, was rebooted in 2022, I prayed to all of the anime gods to please reboot Ranma. And for once, the gods listened. Getting to watch a whole new generation fall in love with such an incredible series has brought me so much joy. Like, this anime is not only wonderful, but shaped so much of what anime is today. Even though it had been like 15 years since I had watched an episode, when I watched the first episode, I got transported right back. That was massively helped by the fact that the original voice cast came back to reprise their roles after nearly 40 years. I was a little bummed that they traded the bright colors of the original for a more subdued palette, but it did grow on me over time. Even though this anime is far from being over, the original had 161 episodes and 11 OVAs, I am so massively impressed with it so far, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. Number 6. VTuber legend how I went viral from forgetting to turn off my stream. As an unhinged gay myself, seeing myself represented on screen was truly awe-inspiring. And we're not talking gay-coded or queer-baiting, we are talking full canonically gay. And every single episode, I asked myself, how are they going to make it gayer and more unhinged than the last? And every single episode, they raised that bar. And this show got weird, like ABDL wanting to own someone's uvula weird. I went into the show very hesitant, but it ended up being the sleeper hit surprise of the year. I've also been informed that it is scarily accurate to the real VTuber community and represented them beautifully. There's not much of an overarching plot, it's just different chaotic situations every episode. Although they technically wrapped it up nicely at the end of the show, I am praying to all of the anime gods ever to please continue this absolute shit show of a show. Number 5. Dead Demons DDD Destruction. The biggest tongue twister of the year, also doubled as one of the best sci-fi anime of the decade. Dead Demons DDD Destruction has one of the most unique concepts I've seen in a hot minute. A lot of folks argue that the first and prologue episode spoils the entire series, since it takes place near the end of the manga. But I actually think that was a brilliant idea, because you get to see the post-apocalyptic shit show that the world turns into. And then it rewinds years before to show you exactly what led up to that. This quaint slice-of-life anime has a morbid backbone as you wait with bated breath for the other shoe to drop, and when it does, holy this was a hard one to watch week to week since there's a lot of info thrown your way. But I am really looking forward to binge rewatching the whole thing and seeing how much better it gets back to back. This also had the best outro of the year, whose power literally made me cry every time. It's shows like this that make me so excited for the future of sci-fi anime. Number 4. Kaiju number 8. I did not expect to like Kaiju number 8 as much as I did. But like, what is there not to like? It is a big, dumb action anime with Godzilla-like monsters and one of my favorite main characters I've seen in a long time. It was, however, ridiculously rude to watch this particular scene play out on the day I turned 32, so thanks for reminding me of my mortality. I am so happy that I went into this with as little info as possible, because the twist that rules the rest of the story was such a fun one. If y'all haven't seen this, please do yourself a favor and go into this blind. I see a lot of people saying Kaiju number 8 is overrated, especially with how hard Crunchyroll was shoving it down everyone's throat with that weekly countdown. But unlike Solo Leveling, this one absolutely lived up to the hype and is one of the best action anime to come out this decade. Thank God we got season 2 in 2025, because even months later, I'm still going through withdrawal. Number 3. Train to the End of the World. If you've been on my channel this year, you already know. Chaotic, absurdist anime is my favorite, and Train to the End of the World scratched that itch. It also did something nearly unheard of in this era of anime and came up with an original concept that I legitimately had not seen before. The whole premise of a 7G incident destroying the seams of reality and everyone in Japan, turning the country into an art student's acid dream is absolutely brilliant. We get to watch our main characters travel to each one of the train stops affected on their way to save their friend, and the sheer creativity is astounding. I am also a massive fan of anime who do not overstay their welcome. Some could learn from that. There are no filler episodes, and it perfectly wraps up by the end with an over-the-top spectacle that ties a bow on this near-perfect series. We need more out-there zany anime like Train to the End of the World, and I really hope that this helps encourage other anime creators to get weird with it and let their imagination run wild. Number 2, Terminator Zero. I think at this point in time, everyone has kind of given up on the Terminator franchise. Like, how many bad movies and series can you stomach before abandoning the fandom? I did not have high hopes for Terminator Zero, but I was hoping that it would at least be tolerable. But this anime shook me to my core. Terminator Zero is one of the best sci-fi anime I have ever seen, and the best thing to ever come out of the Terminator franchise. This is such a good show that I honestly feel guilty putting it as number 2, because it deserves to be the best anime of 2024. But alas, number 1 just barely beat it. I cannot stress how perfect this anime is though. I was hooked 2 minutes in and have never binged 4 hours of anime so fast. Since the Terminator franchise has been done to death, they did the impossible and crafted a truly original story. With Pluto and Heavenly Delusion coming out last year, and Terminator Zero and Dead Demons DDD Destruction this year, I think we can officially label this as a golden age, and acknowledge that we are experiencing a sci-fi renaissance. And I, for one, am so happy to be alive for it. Honorable mentions. Y'all already know Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is one of my favorite anime of the year, and had a monumental impact on my life. I even made an entire video on how it helped my music career and inspired me to dive back into my creative side. If you are any type of creative type, this show is for you. But it also doesn't sugarcoat the industry. They don't blow up overnight, and they have to face imposter syndrome, failure, and experience the mental toll that being in these industries takes on you. Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is a truly beautiful anime. It would have been an official contender on this list if it weren't for a few not great scenes that brought the score down in general. There were so many incredible LGBT+ shows this year, but Senpai Isn't a Tokonoko was one of the front runners. It held space for people who are under the trans, non-binary, genderqueer, and questioning umbrella. This anime is a truly beautiful one that encourages its characters and audience to embrace the uncomfortable spaces it takes to truly find yourself. Instead of forcing its characters to choose a label, this anime instead validates those who choose to embrace themselves rather than forcing themselves into the confines of a label. I encourage anyone who is in that questioning space to watch Senpai Isn't a Tokonoko. And remember that whether you choose a label or not, you are valid. Your experiences are valid, and you are not alone. And here is my unpopular opinion of the video, but I liked Uzumaki. I'm sorry to all the Uzumaki haters out there, but this anime still has good aspects in them. We can all agree that the second episode's animation failures are absolutely jarring, but that's because the top production team absolutely fucked over the animation teams beyond belief. If you can overlook that, the rest of the series really holds up. And no matter how you feel about the rest of the series, you cannot deny that the first episode of Uzumaki is one of the best anime episodes ever, whose animation techniques are actively helping further the evolution of anime as a medium. Since Uzumaki is just an honorary mention, I'm not going to do a full deep dive, but I did in this video, so I'd highly recommend y'all check it out. And at number 1, we have Dandadan. Is anyone surprised? Cause Dandadan is one of the best anime to come out in years, and a very well-deserved 10 out of 10. Does it have sketchy and questionable scenes? Yes, but so do many of the anime that I've gifted a 10 out of 10. As soon as I heard that Science Saru, aka my favorite studio co-founded by Masaki Yuasa, my favorite person in the entire anime industry, was taking on this project, I knew that it was gonna be a hit. Then I found out that the score was going to be done by my favorite composer Kensuke Ushio, who did the soundtrack for shows like Devilman Crybaby and Chainsaw Man. I lost my goddamn mind. All of those prayers to the anime gods paid off, because Dandadan absolutely lived up to that hype and executed one of the weirdest, most chaotic and wonderful shows I've seen in years. Every single episode is an absolutely unhinged ride, and I was devastated every time the outro song started playing. If we're being totally real, Terminator Zero is a better overall show. But there's just something so magically wonderful about Dandadan that it won over the two. I am kinda devastated that we have to wait until next summer for the second core, but I waited years for this puppy to be adapted, so those months are gonna fly by. So to wrap things up, 2024 was an absolute powerhouse of a year. I feel so guilty for not talking about the masterpiece that is Frieren and the chokehold that the Apothecary Diaries had over me. When you add those in the mix, it solidifies what a truly incredible year this was. I am so excited for 2025, not only for the continuations of Dandadan, Kaiju Number 8, The Elusive Samurai, and I'm assuming Ranma 1/2, but also for newcomers like Sakamoto Days and The Summer Hikaru Died. What were your favorite anime of 2024? And did any of your favorites make today's list? I'm sure I missed a lot of anime this year too, so please let me know your favorites so I can add them to my absurdly long anime watch list. On a personal note, this has been a monumental year for my channel. I started out 2024 with 200 subscribers, and thanks to all of you, I'm now over 2,000. Y'all helped me get monetized and supported me through the horrific mental health year that I had. I am going to be kicking off 2025 by debuting a second channel that's going to focus solely on short form content, where I'm also going to be able to do shorter follow-up videos to my long form content here. Thank you all for making 2024 bearable. I am so grateful and honored to have such a wonderful community. Thank y'all so much for sticking around, and I'll see all of y'all on the next one.